All right. If you guys are watching this, this is likely going to be posted on Wednesday morning. This is kind of what me and Jacob have been waiting to do on this channel. This is what Jacob was really excited to get back on for. This is what I've been excited to have him back on for. It's the draft. It's the 2025 NBA draft. Jacob's team will be picking in the top three, most likely, unless something unforeseen happens. My team will be picking in the lottery as well. So we've both been really invested. We've both been really doing some scouting, been having a lot of conversations about who could fall where and which guys fit which team. I think obviously we know who's going to go number one in this draft, but past that, and maybe number two as well. But once we get to that third pick, we've seen a lot of different rumors about what could possibly happen. Jacob, are you under the impression, and I know you told me this a few weeks ago, but are you still under the impression that the draft this year starts at three?
Yeah. Do we know for sure who's going one with Nico and Dallas? But
That's a good point. That's a good point.
um, yeah, I think it starts at three. I think one and two are set. Philly, a lot of reports been coming out. Do they trade back? Do they sit and pick? A lot of rumors now of Charlotte, who's behind Philly at four, about them trading down, and Washington and Brooklyn trading up. So I think three is when the draft starts. Do
Yeah,
you do you think how many trades do you think first round we see? I think we saw two or three last year.
yeah, that
I,
sounds right. Yeah.
How many think we got this? How many think we'll see this year?
I think that this year will be different because I think that we'll see not necessarily like pick for pick trades as often as we've seen in the past. I think we'll see some player movement.
Okay.
Some already like established NBA players be traded for picks. I think that
So, go
I don't have like any specific player in mind, but I
Yeah,
know in the like 2022 draft we saw a little bit of that. I know your team traded for DeAnthony Melton in that draft.
yeah.
Um, so maybe we see some of that. I would like to see some of that. We haven't really seen that in the last 2 years that I can remember at least.
If we trade back, we've been linked to New Orleans, which Herb Jones would be involved, more than likely. Brooklyn, maybe Cam Johnson. Even with Charlotte, those are names to watch too. But other than that, I don't player wise, I just know kind of the top part that could happen. The further back, we never really know.
Yeah. Yeah, it always gets really jumbled once you get to the late first round and especially the second round. Like seems like every pick ends up going to a different team.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's there's always some confusion involved with the draft. But
yeah.
what do you think about this class just in totality? I know that you know, maybe studied every player, but from the guys that you have, whether it be watched tape on or heard things about or read things about. What impression do you get about the depth of this draft class?
Um, I think this class is a lot better than last year's. Not to say last year was just bad, but coming in, it wasn't the best. We had players go late that um played really well. I think maybe four players in this draft could have went number one last year, maybe three. Um, Flag, Harper, Bailey, Edgecombe, maybe. But I think this class is deep. I've seen a lot of people say that late round picks could, other years could be in the lottery. I guess it just kind of depends on preference. Who do you like? What do teams like about you? But other than that, I think this class is pretty deep. And like I told you, kind of during the playoffs, it's really situational where you go. We've seen second round picks in the playoffs, undrafted players in the playoffs really be important to teams. So if you're going to a good spot, you know, you got teams that draft really well that can make guys work, or they just find gems, hidden gems. So I think this draft will be pretty deep, considering what we've kind of seen the last few years.
Yeah, I know it's a point that you've been making more recently that second round picks seem to be a lot more valuable now than they were in years prior. Do you
Yeah,
stand by that?
I still stand by that. I know one of our friends asked us yesterday about why do teams trade for second round picks, and now it is important for cap flexibility, apron wise. Philly, we traded a bad first round pick at the trade deadline for four second rounders. Cheaper players, just get guys at the end of the bench, especially teams like Philadelphia. You have three max contracts. You really don't have room for error. Second round, low contracts. So I guess the more you have, the better. And they're just kind of throwing on a lot of trades. Like if a Giannis trade happened, hey, give us 6 first round picks, throw in 5 seconds, make it look nice, stuff like that.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with you on that. Um, let's get into this mock, man. Let's get into this mock without any further ado. We're gonna do this like we did a few years ago, if you remember, in 2023, I think it was. Uh, Jacob is going to take the odd numbers in this mock draft, and I'm going to take the even numbers, with the exception of the
Of
11th pick, which is the
Yep.
Blazers pick. I want that pick, just because I have some thoughts and preferences for that pick, as I'm sure Jacob has for the third pick, which the Sixers hold. But Jacob, you get the easiest one of the bunch here to start us out. Who are you taking with the Mavericks' first overall pick? You are cosplaying Nico Harrison. Will you make the mistakes of that man, or will you make the easy choice?
Man, a lot of tough decisions at number one. I'll go Cooper Flag. You know, he's been the number one pick basically all year. Probably the last year, maybe year and a half, 2 years. I'm not completely sure. I know Bailey and Harper both had noise as the first pick, but I'm going Cooper Flag.
Yeah, I don't blame you. My laptop's being a little slow right now, so I'm trying to pull up like his scouting profile. But just talk about a two-way player, man. A two-way demon on the floor. You've got some highlights right here that Fanspo's going to pull up. That's really nice. They didn't have that last time around that I saw. But here, I'll close this. But yeah, 19 points, 4 assists, 7.5 rebounds. He was a 37% three-point shooter, and it was really his defense. It wasn't even the offense that was his best attribute in college at Duke. It was his defensive versatility. I feel like he projects to be a really good, versatile defender of a three, defender of a four, and defender of
Mhm.
a five if need be. He's got great length alongside his 6'9" height. He's just such a great versatile player, man. I feel like you can't go wrong with Cooper Flag. I feel like the sky's the limit for him. I know
Mhm.
that a lot of people are comparing him to like Jason Tatum, and I see that. I could see that being like his ceiling. I see comparisons to guys like Jalen Johnson as well. That's my
Yeah.
other real comparison to him with the playmaking aspect and just the well-roundedness of his game. He truly does have it all. And I think man, for the sins that Nico Harrison committed back in February, he has been vindicated in a big way by being able to draft Cooper Flag. So we're going to take Cooper Flag here for the Dallas Mavericks. My
By the
second,
way, good.
no, you go.
Desmond Bain got more combined picks than Luca and KD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The KD part I kind of understand because he's 37, but
Yeah.
Luca,
Yeah.
and I don't want to make it seem like Anthony Davis is like not that much worse than Luca,
So
but he's also like 10 years older.
yeah. I get like not as many firsts because you're getting 80 back, defense wins championships, Nico, whatever. But like I said, the age, the injury history, like I said, I get not that many first round picks, but I mean 2 or 3. I mean, one is just kind of letting them off easy. But hey, reasons GMs are GMs.
Yeah, and that's a lot to bank on just one pick. Like potentially it could be a really good pick, because
Yeah.
it's 2031, and who knows what can happen in the next 6 years. But you mean
Hmm.
one would project the Lakers to still be pretty good with like a 31, 32-year-old Luka Doncic as your best player. So
Should be, yeah.
yeah. Second pick here, San Antonio Spurs. It looks like the Spurs will keep the second pick. I know that it was involved in some talks surrounding potentially Giannis,
Hmm.
potentially surrounding Kevin Durant. The Suns probably threw an offer out there just to see if they could potentially get the second pick. I'm sure the Spurs did not bite. I would not have bid on that if I was the Spurs. I think this pick is very, very valuable, especially with the guy that I'm going to select here at two, and that is Dylan Harper. Dylan Harper is a very interesting player. He's a 6'6" point guard. You see the numbers here, the counting stats. And him and Ace Bailey played together in college. They were a really fun duo to watch. They weren't a very good team at Rutgers. They're both freshmen. They didn't have very good players surrounding them. The defense wasn't great on that team. But Dylan Harper, man, he looked just like a pro all season. He had games of like 35 plus points against some really good teams. his 3-point shooting was way better than I thought it would be. I think he ended up shooting like mid 30s% from three, where I thought that he would shoot like high 20s. The shot is real. The 3-point shot is real with Dylan Harper. And my comps for him, I have some pretty lofty comps for Dylan Harper. I think that he, with the size that he has, with the versatility that he has as well, and he could really project to be a good defender. I've got Cade Cunningham here. And I also said that he could be at his ceiling a bigger Jalen Brunson.
I've seen that too. I'll let you handle the comparisons because I wrote down some while I was at work, but that notepad got left at work, so I don't have them with me. Yeah, I've seen some people say even James Harden potentially if the shot gets better. Who knows? But I've seen Cade and taller Brunson a lot, especially around different mock drafts.
Yeah. The thing about the Harden comp is I just don't think he has the shot profile that Harden
Yeah,
does. I don't think that he's, going to be tween taking step back threes or anything.
yeah,
I think that he's definitely going to be like a more downhill, putting a lot of rim pressure on defenses. What's going to be interesting for me though is it's the right pick for the Spurs to make it number two just based on the talent level. But having Stephon Castle, De'Aaron Fox, and Dylan Harper all on the team, they all kind of do the same thing. They play similar games, which I guess is not a bad thing when you have versatile guards surrounding Victor Wembanyama. But I'm interested to see how it meshes, and I'm also interested to see what their starting lineup ends up looking like because Fox is going to start, and with
yeah.
Castle winning Rookie of the Year, you got to imagine he starts as well. So
Right.
does Dylan Harper come
Could
off the bench, or I don't
I
know.
would I would say so. Could you see, with Boston kind of in the cap limbo they're in, Tatum more than likely missing all of next year. Do you think San Antonio could convince, them to for a Jaylen Brown trade using 214, maybe role players? Um, I doubt they would give up 2 or 14 involved with KP or Holiday, but it'd be Jaylen Brown if that is a big trade. Do you see San Antonio kind of thinking about that, maybe?
I mean, I would entertain it. I would
Okay.
definitely entertain it. The only thing is do you want to be tied down to Jalen
Damn,
Brown's
yeah. Because
mega deal?
it kind of accelerates the timeline with Brown a little bit older. He's not really just old, but compared to Wemby, who's 20, 21, I
Yeah.
think, if that.
Mhm.
There no need to really rush or rebuild or anything. They have two firsts this year. So I agree with Harper. The eventually I guess the Fox decision will have to be made. That's why I've asked you, I think a few weeks ago, do they really would they even think about Ace Bailey just for them already having Fox and Castle, but all signs does point to it being Dylan Harper.
Yeah. No, I definitely think they still have some decisions to make. I like what you said though. I don't think that they should be felt like they have to be in a rush about anything. They have
Mm,
their entire timeline ahead of them. They have a first year, technically second year head coach in Mitch Johnson now.
yeah.
Um, but first year like full-time head coach. So they're still putting a lot of the pieces in place, but with the talent that they have on that team and with presumably a healthy Victor Wembanyama, you would think that they would be a at least play-in team in the Western Conference this next season.
Yeah, fully healthy, they could definitely be a playing team, maybe playoff team, but I think play-in might be the floor for them.
Yeah. All right, Jacob. We have arrived at number three. You see the players on the board. You you have these different directions you could go. I know that you've kind of flip-flopped as time has gone on, as we've, gained more news about players. Where do you currently stand at number three?
I was gonna do a video in Philadelphia a while back, just hadn't had the time. Gonna talk a little bit on here. I want to trade back. I know we're not doing trades on this episode, or in this draft, but hopefully we trade back with New Orleans, pick up Herb Jones, 7 and 23. Brooklyn, Cam Johnson, they have 4 first round picks, 8, Cam Johnson, a later pick, maybe our pick back in the future. Um, Other than that, we need wing depth. Ace Bailey's there. You've kind of seen the reports of canceling the workout last minute. A lot of guys say, he's a good kid. I say kid, we're close to the same age. A good guy, a good person. Um, It's just the agent kind of, Amari Cooper, I think, who is kind of not pushing him the wrong way, but some teams could worry about that, the
Some of the
direction
decisions have been questionable.
he's not work he's the only US prospect that's not worked out for a team so far. Now he could have a draft promise from Brooklyn, from Washington. They do want to he does want to play on the East Coast, understandably. The teams at the bottom of the East, he could be the number one on pretty quick. Um, so we need the wing depth, and it's been reported that Daryl Moore doesn't care. He doesn't care if you canceled or anything. If he wants you, he's going to take you. And last year we didn't have. I think we didn't have a workout with McCain, who would have been the rookie of the year if he stayed healthy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um, I think Maxey back in 20, they didn't have an official workout or anything. So the only player that I know for sure we brought in this range is VJ, who had a good meeting. They even flew Maxey. Maxey got off a vacation to come meet him, which was kind of crazy to me that Maxey came and meet him and not, Joel, which understandably, Joel really doesn't do that type of thing. But they said he was nervous during his workout, which, you're in the gym not by yourself. You're in the gym, people watching you. It's not a 5-on-5 or anything. So, really they could go either way. Like you said, I've been back and forth on it. I still am right now. I'm looking at the two players and I don't know what I want to do. Like I said, I do want to trade back. Um, man, I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
Could we flip?
You know what? We can break the mold if we have to. We're on Fanspo now. I was not expecting to
Okay.
be on Fanspo, so we can
Okay.
pick if you would
All
like
right.
to trade pick.
All
We
right.
can. We will do that.
Since you're the evens, I'll call
Ah,
Brooklyn. I'll call Brooklyn.
all right. Brooklyn Nets picking up the phone. What's up? What's up?
All right. Let's see. I want to say there's even been rumors of them taking on Paul George contract, but so has the Jazz. But since you're at 8, I don't want to trade with myself. I don't think we can do players.
Yeah,
So we
for the sake of just draft picks, we can like say players are
mentioned the
involved,
players. Yeah, yeah.
but the only thing on here that will
It's
be
picks.
player picks. So
Okay. Um, no future picks, so we can just say that too.
yeah.
So I'd offer you the third pick,
Hmm.
filler wise, Drummond, Oubre, probably Oubre. Um,
All right.
for the eighth pick, I don't know if I want to do Cam Johnson or not.
Who else would it possibly be for a player though?
I've seen Nick Claxton, which doesn't make sense, unless he's a backup. But we have a Dembona. I'm fine with the Dembona.
Hmm.
So I'll send you the third pick. I doubt Brooklyn. Realistically, we could try to get our future pick, but like the Houston thing, that pick is valuable. You don't want to give it up because
Right.
like this year, what happened this year. That could be Brooklyn. So I'll do number 8 for or 3 filler for I guess Cam Johnson. Number 8.
You can throw
Would
in
you be
one more
would
pick.
you be would you be willing to do 19?
I would rather do 26 or 27
Would you do 26 and 27? I was gonna say, would you do 19 or 26 and 27?
for the third pick.
Third pick, cap filler. Yeah, filler for Johnson,
So,
3. Which who knows? Brooklyn might love Ace Bailey or VJ. We don't know.
yeah. You know
So
what? Yeah.
we don't know. So I'd want 19 in one of our future picks, but for the sake of this, our future picks aren't on there. I would love 19 and 27, but I can settle on 26 and 27.
I'll do 26 and 27. I'll do that.
Okay. Like I said, we might want more, but for the sake of this, I would love to do that. It helps us money wise because the third pick you're taking on I think $11 million, and we're already close to the second apron, so we get more swings at depth.
Yeah. So you're getting back on this, you're getting back 8, 26, and 27.
Yep, and Cam Johnson for the sake of the video, and then you get 3 in filler, which
Yeah.
Oubre
Which will
Drummond
be off the books, basically.
off the books. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
off the books. So
Okay.
when we draft Philly's next picks, just keep in mind we got Cam Johnson, and we don't know about Grimes, Yabusele, none of that. So
Yeah.
okay,
So let's see. So I'll take this here since I'm Brooklyn GM.
Did you? I don't think it went through. I don't think you confirmed it.
Oh, did it not?
I don't think so. I might be wrong.
It says the team picks right here.
Oh, okay. Oh, you didn't send a third
Oh, I didn't
to
send it to
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. Okay.
Hey, I'll take it.
No, no, we're not doing that now.
Take it. And realistically, I think we would try to get our future first. But like I said, with Brooklyn, they might just say, "Hey, no, you're gonna suck."
Will it
No,
not let me trade with Brooklyn? It may not let me trade with Brooklyn since I didn't do it this past time. So we can just pretend, I guess,
yeah,
that
we'll say
this
this is going
third
to
pick
Brooklyn.
is this third pick is going to Brooklyn. So
Yeah,
if we're
but
if we're
we
making if we're making this trade, I'll be Brooklyn here, and you can have all of those Sixers picks. You can do what you want with those.
yeah, that's fine. That's cool, man.
Yeah. So with this third pick, if we're making this trade, I'm taking Ace Bailey just based on the talent level. I do
Hmm.
think for Brooklyn, I like of the fit here more than like almost any other team. It's a place where there's not really any pressure for him right away. He um he has guys that he can play with who their shot profiles kind of match up. Talking about Cam Thomas,
I bet say over under combined shots, 50
man,
a
it,
game combined
it
shots.
might it might be it might get up to 60. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
But I think it will make for some fun watches. Like they'll have some really exciting games if Ace Bailey ends up in Brooklyn. Um, so yeah, they'll be really bad and they'll have to continue to build through the years. But they have more picks this year. Like they still have the 19th pick in this draft, so they could potentially take a big to replace Nick Claxton if he gets moved, or they want to go with a point guard. I know they're losing D'Angelo Russell most likely to free agency.
think
So
so.
yeah, I think so. I think
I think he might take less to stay. He seems to like Brooklyn. No, like not much pressure, but he might want just the money somewhere else.
maybe. Uh, I don't see it though. I think he'll try to get back to a contender.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll take this. I'll take this fourth pick too, though. It's two then,
Hmm.
since you have all the Sixers picks.
But that's fine.
Got to take VJ right here. Got to take VJ if you're the Charlotte Hornets. VJ
So
Edgecombe.
okay, I was say, would you consider uh Malawatch?
I mean, if you're going to be losing Mark Williams, potentially, yeah.
I mean, you've already tried to trade him, you know.
But this is my philosophy for drafting in the top five is
You don't draft for
you
fit.
take the best
Yeah.
available in the top five.
Yeah. No, I love the pick. I love the pick. They need a competitor. They need the locker room guy, the dog, you know, the competitor, which we've seen VJ. That's one of his biggest traits. So definitely a good pick. I just, worry whoever gets drafted to Charlotte.
Yeah,
It's like the void.
yeah. I really like the prospects of VJ though. I know, like you said, with the shot, there may be some questions, but
Hmm.
his tenacity defensively, he's 6'5", but I've mentioned this to you. He plays like he's like 6'7" or 6'8". He
Right.
has a lot of defensive tools where he can guard bigger players, and his explosiveness, his athleticism, he reminds me so much of Victor Oladipo. Uh,
Hmm.
just before the injury, he reminds me of Victor Oladipo, and Aaron
Yep.
Nesmith. Aaron Nesmith is my other comp that I
Yeah. So you've told me we might like him enough to take him at three, but you know,
So yeah, I'm gonna take VJ here at 4. I think this is a pretty easy choice for me.
I agree.
All right, so you're drafting for Utah at 5 now.
Ugh. Danny Ainge. Um,
A lot of players that we see down here for Utah could not be on the team by the start of the season.
yeah, we've even been linked to him as a trade down, and they take on Paul George, and we take Sexton and Collins, or marketing. Um, I'm gonna go with Trey Johnson.
Okay,
Not a great defender so far, but he has the tools he could be. Probably the best shooter of this class,
I would say so.
More than likely. Um, a lot of the stuff I've seen is, they think he has the star potential just from the offense. He showed some playmaking at Texas. And he was the number one at Texas, I believe. So, all that pressure on him, he was taking tough shots, still making them. His, I guess, upside of the shooting, the scoring, and I think you've told me before, Keyshawn George doesn't stop you from taking anybody.
Yeah,
So I think Trey Johnson a good upside. You can bet on the playmaking, average 19 points or 20 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds. just the scoring alone, I would just take the upside on it. We don't know what they're doing. They could trade anybody. I think they have a new. I think it was Danny Ainge's son. I think Austin maybe.
I
I don't
saw
know
this
his
name. I
name.
don't know his name.
Some. I think it's Danny Ainge's sons. I think going to be involved in like the trades. He got one of those positions. But I think they just take the upside, like you said. The top five is kind of hard to do fit. You just take the best available. So I'm gonna go with Trey Johnson.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good pick. I agree with you. I think Trey Johnson is the best shooter in this draft. I think he's the best pure shooter.
Hmm.
I comped him. I think Buddy Hield is an easy one. I
Yeah.
think just the shooting efficiency. He has a lot of catch and shoot, but he has a lot of off the dribble element as well. And because of some of the like erraticness that he plays with, and some of the he has some of the same Ace Bailey in him, where some of the
Yeah.
shots he takes are questionable, but he makes them. He makes a pretty decent percentage of them. I comped him to Jordan Poole. I think he has a lot of Jordan Poole in his game where he can either shoot you out of the game or he can be like the real
Keep
X
you in the game.
factor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he's going to be a really interesting player to watch. I had him going a little lower in my official mock, but I like him at 5. I like him being in a place like Utah where there is no real pressure and he has a lot of time to develop. I like that. Yeah.
I had my I had my official mock, but I don't have it with me. But I'm going as kind of the board falls. So, um, but like any Jordan Poole's not a bad comp. Pre drama, he was on one. Key to them winning. So, uh, I love Trey Johnson in Utah.
Yeah, I think I think it's a good fit. I think it's a pretty good fit. All right, I'm drafting here for the Wizards at number 6, and this is where I'll go Malawach. I'll go Common
Okay.
Malawach right here. I think pairing him with Alex Sarr, I think that creates a pretty nice twin towers for the Washington Wizards, who kind of need a defensive identity. They have given up over 150 points over the past 2 seasons, like multiple times, which is pretty crazy to think about without overtime. Um, just a bunch of young players, but you can start to see the direction of the team. You can start to see them kind of
Hmm.
forming um, a core there with guys like Alex Sarr and Bilal Coulibaly and Bub Carrington and Keyshawn George. And you have these older guys now like Jordan Poole and Marcus Smart and Chris Middleton, who I saw just accepted his player option. Um, they have potential. They have the potential, I think, to make the Eastern Conference play in this next season, especially with, you know, the questions that teams will have in the Eastern Conference. But I think adding Malawach to this team gives them their defensive anchor, a true five. I know he's had some questions about his rebounding.
Hmm.
He's kind of an inconsistent rebounder, especially for his height. He is a very aggressive shot blocker to the point where he will leave out of good rebounding positioning to block shots a lot of the times, but he doesn't foul very much. He
Yeah.
stays out of foul trouble for the most part, and he has the potential to be a stretch big, maybe not a very effective one, but he did shoot the three a little bit at Duke. So I think that can be developed as time goes on. But as you can see, he's 7'2", and I think his wingspan is like 7'10". So he has.
He's got one of the best like physical traits in the draft, probably.
Oh, for sure. And I think in a
Um,
place like Washington, he can, be raw for a year or two and then really kind of come into his own. And I really like pairing him with Alex Sarr. I think that makes for a really good 4 or 5 pairing.
yeah, I like the fit. Like they just need the upside players. They need talent. I've seen he could be a great rim protector. He's one of those just kind of finish bigs, get the ball to him close, he can finish it. Um, I want to say it was during the combine. He did have some great, or he had, shooting and he was actually hitting the threes. So, I mean, the shot, like you said, the shot can develop. And going into Washington, there's no pressure. Obviously, the, fans and owners want to win, but there's no pressure. And like you said, the East being as weak as it is, they could definitely be a playing team.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
New Orleans, who did
I'm
I,
interested to see where you go here, especially with the Sixers being at 8. Um,
yeah, I took a picture of the draft I did a while back. You have
I can scroll further down the board at any point if you need me to.
okay.
These are just the top available guys.
Yeah. Um. Oh man, I don't know if I want to go guard or not here. You have CJ Alvarado.
DeJounte Murray still technically.
Yeah, I forgot about that. You have Herb. You have Trey Murphy.
Jordan Hawkins.
Macy was good last year.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Uh, Zion. Who knows?
Bruce Brown is still
Um,
technically on the team, but I feel like he won't
yeah.
be for very long.
In my mock, I took Jeremiah Fears. Um,
That's who I took too.
so I guess I'll settle with that. Like I said, I'll let you do the comps and everything, but kind of them been rumored to kind of get off of CJ for a while. And I know Alvarado's not the how tall is 6'4"? I don't know how tall Alvarado is. I know he's not very tall.
Hmm.
Um, he was a good shooter last year, wasn't he? I might be wrong.
Jeremiah
Fears,
Fears. He
yes,
was
I might
kind
be
of
wrong.
inconsistent. I would say he's okay. He's an okay
Okay,
shooter.
okay. But New Orleans, I know we've kind of been high on them last few years. I know I have. You kind of don't know with them. They kind of like Philly last year, a lot of injuries, and they look good for a stretch, and then it just goes all downhill. So I kind of expect them to move CJ at some point. I
Yeah.
believe he's making 30 million to 20 million soon this year.
Mhm.
Um, so I'll just take another guard, kind of bolster that guard room a little bit.
Yeah. No, I took Jeremiah Fears here at this spot too on my mock. My comparisons for him are Scoot Henderson, a player very dear to my heart, and Jaden Ivey. I think he has a lot of that aggressiveness, that downhill aggressiveness. He has
So
some turnover problems.
yeah,
He's not a great three-point shooter, but he has the capability to improve as a three-point shooter. But the playmaking potential is there. He is dynamic. As a freshman, he really blossomed. He's very young. I think he still has a long way to go, but
mhm.
the potential to be really good is there. I just think for him, it's going to be being put in a situation where he has guys around him that can bring the best out of him. And I don't know if New Orleans is technically the best place to do that or not, but I think that I think that it can happen. I think that it can happen, and I think talent wise, I can't see him falling further than like 8 at this
Hmm.
point because the potential is just it's too high for him to fall too far. Uh,
Yeah,
but I went with 7 with Fears as well.
I like Willie Green and Joe Dumars is the new GM, I believe.
That's right.
So kind of they're not attached to anybody. So on the roster, so they we can see movement. Really, who knows?
Yeah. All right. This is
Oh,
official first pick here at 8.
all right. We have 8. So we have Cam Johnson, 26, 27. Okay. This kind of makes it easy. I don't think he'll fall this far, even though he's 8 on the board. I'm gonna go Con Nipple.
Yeah.
I
That's
think
it's the easy choice.
it's an easy choice. I've thought about Noah or
No Senge.
Singay, Carter Bryant. I kind of heard. I was listening to some stuff earlier. Colin Murray Boyles, I'd like. That's kind of further down the board. I know you really don't like him. But Colin Knippel, another great shooter, second, third in this class, I think. The only concern, I know he has a great IQ. Kind of, I don't want to say he handled the ball last year. Kind of some of the playmaking responsibility. Uh, Shooter. The only really downside is his athleticism.
Yeah.
Which if you're a smart player, you kind of know where to be. That's not that be all end all. Um, and I think if he can, just be serviceable as a defender, which I know he's more than that, or he's more than that at Duke.
Mhm.
If he can guard, slow down the wings like the Jalen Browns. I don't want to say Tatum. I know he probably couldn't, but just from him being out. In
Yeah.
the East, if you can slow down the OGs and McHale's, the Siakams maybe as a wing, which I know that's a mismatch, but I think we've talked about he's probably outside of Flag has one of the safest floors in this draft,
Yeah.
and Daryl Morey and Nick Nurse kind of. I think Windhorst said it. If it goes bad this year, they're the two guys on the hottest seat in the league. So hottest seats in the league. So I think they're going to kind of do where it's a future play and a win now move, a win now and kind of like a future upside. Just take the best guy on the board if he fits. We know the Embiid gravity. McCain and Maxey both were great shooters or great shooters, especially last year. McCain, the 26 games he played. So I think he just fits in perfectly. You might not want to take him at three unless you just really like him, but a trade down, I think, is kind of a steal to trade down, get future asset or get more assets and still get them.
Yeah. No, I think this is like an easy
And
pick at 8.
and I want to say I know you told me, or I think I've seen it too, that his one of his player comps is Cam Johnson, who we just traded for. So it's
Yeah.
he's not going to be in a big rush to contribute right away, but who knows? We said that last year with rookies.
Yeah. No, I think he's a great safe pick. I could justify him being taken as high as 3, honestly.
Yeah, so I can see it. So trading back, it's failed perfectly.
Yeah. I like you said, I think he has the highest floor in this draft outside of Cooper Flag and maybe Dylan Harper.
Yeah,
I think that the ceiling isn't necessarily very high for him. I don't think that he will be like a star player by any stretch of the imagination. But the comps that I have for him are Keegan Murray and
mm,
Gordon Hayward. Like maybe not all-star Gordon Hayward, but like pretty much
we've
prime Gordon Hayward besides
yeah,
that.
yeah,
I could see that for Khan. He's a really good shooter, like you said. I don't worry about the athleticism because of his size. He's 6'7". He's
yeah,
very sturdy. His lateral quickness may not be the best, but I think as long as he's not guarding like super speedy one slash combo guards, I think he'll be fine. I don't
yeah,
think that he'll have a whole lot of questions defensively. He's a just a great connector.
yeah.
He's an underrated playmaker. Would fit any team. Any
If
team.
he, I mean, even if he's stealing it and star, all star, if he's a great role player, we've seen, this playoffs, role players winning games. So, perfectly fine with that.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good pick. And number 9 here for the Toronto Raptors. My guy that I took in my mock is still on the board.
Does your computer refresh? Yeah, there you go. There it
Yeah,
is.
it's
Okay.
just taking a little minute here. Um, so the Raptors are an interesting team now because they have Brandon Ingram, they have Emmanuel Quickley, they have RJ Barrett, they have Scotty Barnes, and Jakob Poeltl is still technically on the roster too. Feels like
Hmm.
he's been a trade candidate for years and years at this point. Um,
They've been in talks of trading some of those guys too.
yeah. I think the Raptors could look for like a true point guard right here. I
Yeah,
think,
go ahead.
like in my mock, I have Noah Esingeh going to the
Hmm.
Raptors, but I don't want to do that here.
I
I think
had
I want
I
to
had
go.
Malawatch follow mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hmm. I could see that. But I'm gonna go. I'm either thinking about Kasparis or Jaeger Dimon right here. A guy who can play make, who's a little bigger. I think I'm gonna go with Kasparis right here out
Okay.
of Illinois. Kasparis Jakubonis. He he's got good size. Like you can see the numbers here. He's a well-rounded player. He shot the three, I think, about 32, 33%. So he's an all right shooter. But he played for Illinois. Illinois was a really good offensive team, a team that really stacked actions. He's a pretty high IQ player to be 19 years old. Excuse me. He's played internationally, and earlier in this draft process, like a month or two ago, he was as high as like 4 or 5. He's fallen a little bit just because I think other guys have risen. But Kasparis is a good player. I think defensively, he's not super great. I don't think his ceiling defensively is going to be really great. But I think Toronto has the guys that can mask that defensively. I think with Scotty Barnes and with the interior guys that they have, I think that they could mask some of Kasparis's deficiencies. I keep forgetting Grady Dick is even on the team. Grady Dick is a great player who I think could play alongside Kasparis. I think they would play well off each other. Um, Not much to say here. I think it's the right fit. I think we've reached the point of the draft where best available is not always the option. And
Yeah.
I think that Kasparis here is the best fit, and he's still one of the best available. So I'm going to take him at number 9.
Okay. Do you want to do number 10 too to get back you on evens, or you want me to go ahead and do it?
No, you take number 10 because I got number 11. Also, my
Okay,
comps for
okay,
Kasparis, I think he's got a lot of Brandon Podziemski in him. I see a lot of pods.
okay. Um, so they don't have KD. You have Green, Brooks, and Booker. They have a
And
lot of
Beal.
shooting guards. And Bill, yeah. A lot of shooting guards. We know they want a center. They want a center. Derek Queen's not the biggest center. I don't know about much about Baron J.
I'm sure Danny Wolf is down here.
I was about to say, I think in this mock at 29, I had them taking Danny Wolf. No, I had them taking Walter Clayton.
At 29?
Who, Clayton? Yeah,
Yeah.
they have the 29th pick. Yeah,
I
I had
really
Clayton
doubt
going.
he falls that far.
That's what, yeah, I kind of went off the board they had. And like I said, I didn't really like a lot of those. Um, should I store? They have Sorter.
If you want to go center, those are the centers. These are
I've seen that they don't want Nick Richards starting. I'll go Daniel Wolf.
okay.
He's been linked there. I'll go Daniel Wolf.
Danny Wolf.
With Phoenix, it's kind of hard. Um, I could have went wing power forward, but they got rid of Nurkic. Finally, um, they don't want Nick Richards. Really, who else could you trade for? Maybe sign Capella, but like you said, they're still a second apron team,
Hmm.
so they're gonna have to reroute Green or get Bill to accept to go somewhere. I'll go Daniel Wolf. I've seen some clips of him. I've seen him even mocked. As highest I've seen him is to Portland at 11, which I
Does
think I
make
sent it.
sense.
Yeah, I sent it to you. You already have three centers.
Yeah.
Can trade two of them.
Technically four
Yeah,
with Dwight Reeves.
yeah. So really, I could trade any of them besides Klingon. Yeah, Phoenix is kind of hard. You just kind of need to fill out the roster really the best you can. That's them getting the 10th pick. Brooks is probably going to play the three for them.
I would imagine. Yeah.
Maybe no. Do you start Beal and Green
No, I think if things stood as they currently stand with their roster, I think Bill would come off the bench like he did last year.
last year? Okay, I about to say if Brooks is your four, you're not going to win many games.
Yeah.
But yeah, just kind of get a position of need. You need the size. I'm not sure how good of a rim protector it was. I saw
Not
clips of
great.
him being able to score, play make a little bit. No matter what, Phoenix is not going to be that good. So them just kind of getting to pick a player or a position they need. I'll go with that with Danny Wolf.
Yeah. Danny Wolf is a very interesting player because he's a ball handling 7 foot center. You see the numbers here.
And
Uh,
they don't have a true point guard, so that could definitely help.
yeah, he's definitely a guy who could serve as a hub. He he's gonna he if he's on the floor, he's gonna have the ball in his hands a good bit. He's
Okay.
going to be a playmaking for others. He can create off the dribble, which is very weird for a center, especially one as stout as him. But yeah, like I said, he's not a very good rim protector or defender in general. So this is not going to make the Suns much better defensively if they draft him. But
Yeah,
I don't mind the pick. I don't mind the pick because he is a really good offensive player, and I think he could project to be a really good offensive center. He's kind of in that mold of some of the hub centers that we see in the league right now, with, of course, Jokic being the top of that list. But the guy I comped him to, he's got a lot of Alperen Şengün in his game, where I think that he could do a lot of the same things that Şengün has done.
yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, Phoenix is not going to compete really. So
Yeah. All right. Got my Blazers here at 11.
I'll go ahead and say I had Casper going here in my mock.
I don't like Kasparis. I, It wouldn't be terrible, but I think that because Denny Avdia has kind of stepped up as a secondary or in a lot of cases primary playmaker now, I don't think that we need what Kasparis brings very much. I think that there are better options. And there are two guys that I'm looking at in particular right here. Um, I'm gonna pass by Noah Asingay. I think Noah Asingay would be cool here too, but I watched some tape on him. I saw him there in the EuroLeague playoffs right now, or whichever league he's playing in, and he's not
Yeah, I
getting
think so.
minutes.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think part of that is because he's going to get drafted this week, but also another draft prospect, Ben Seraph, plays for another team in that league, and he's been
Hmm.
kind of going off in those playoffs. So it raises some questions about Noah Esingeh for me because I believe that he's healthy, and I've seen him do some good things. I still have PTSD from Tajon Salon last year though, so I,
Hey,
I'm gonna leave Noah Esingeh for another team. I'm not gonna take him here with the
a-
Blazers pick.
after the draft last year, I had a my guys list, and I think I hit on all five of them. So
Yeah,
see if I can
I
repeat
might need
repeat
to
that
listen
this
to
year.
you.
Yeah,
Between Tijon Salon last year and Jalen Hood-Schifino in 2023, my track record is hooked.
hey,
My track
Hood
record is
Schifino was the
hooked.
Sixers tank commander this year. One of them.
Yeah.
We had many of them. Uh,
Hey, that whatever he scored like 17, 19 point game he had almost brought a
yeah,
tear to my eye.
he had like 33s that game, I think.
That's what I was waiting for. But anyway, I see Carter Bryant here. I like Carter Bryant a lot. I could
Yeah.
very well pick Carter Bryant right here. My guy though in this draft is let me see if he's on the power forward list. Yeah, here he is at 26. Rasheer Fleming, I
Yep.
is going to be like the steal of this draft. And so knowing what I know about Rasheer Fleming, I'm gonna take him right here at 11 for the Blazers. If I had my way, he would be who the Blazers pick. You see the size, 6'9", he has a 7'5" wingspan. He's a great rebounder. He's uber athletic. He was almost a 40% three-point shooter. He's a little older. He's 21 years old. I think he turns 22 in a few months. And he kind of just burst on the scene this past year.
Hmm.
So there are a lot of questions if like the shooting numbers are legit, if he is if he's really what he showed this past season. But from the tape that I've watched, from the workouts that I've seen of Rasheer Fleming, he looks elite. He looks a lot like Tari Eason. I think he has a lot of Obi Toppin to his game. Those are my two comps for him. He's
Yeah.
got a lot of that burst. He's got a lot of that athleticism. And so for my Blazers, who are in kind of a need of a four, they're not really in need of anything really with all of the players that they have on the roster currently.
Hmm.
But if there is a positional in need, I'd say it's at the four with kind of the decline of Jeremy Grant. So I'm going to go with Rasheer Fleming here for my Blazers.
Yeah, I know last night, like 1 in the morning, I think I sent you a TikTok about Fleming being, one of the guys I could pick. And like you said, I don't think you go wrong with Portland. I don't think they could do anything. Whatever they pick, I don't think it's a wrong pick because you really don't need anything.
Yeah.
But I agree the biggest need is the Jeremy Grant replacement down the line when he gets traded or if they even stick the contract out. But I like to pick. I like to pick Fleming.
Yeah. All right, this is the Chicago Bulls here, number 12. Interesting team.
No.
Likely
Um.
a Josh Giddey extension this offseason.
Yep. They just
Josh
gave.
Giddey, number one option.
Hey, that trade really wasn't that bad.
It
Uh,
wasn't. It worked out for both teams.
I was asking you when Giddy was on that hot stretch. Hey, who won the trade? And Caruso in the playoffs. Even trade, Lean Thunder, whatever. Um. You want me to pick here?
Yeah, this is you.
I think they gave Lonzo an extension. 2 year 20, I think, or two year
Good for
10 a
Lonzo, by the
year.
way.
I want to say I might be wrong. Vucevic has been linked to teams. It might be a Laker, maybe. Patrick Williams, they signed him. Herder, Collins.
I well, I won't
I
say.
don't like. I don't like Derek Queen here. I
I had Derek Queen going here. That's who I had.
I don't know. I mean, they need a big, but is he a rim protector that he could be? Which
He's not really a rim protector.
again, yeah, let's say even with like Phoenix, I mean, whatever they do here, are they really going to compete?
Yeah.
Um,
You know, I know this is not my pick to make, but out of all the teams, I know that I'm not very high on Colin Murray Boyles at all. But if there was a team Colin Murray Boyles could go to and I think be effective, I think the Bulls might be the best team.
I was thinking it, but I mean, they have Patrick Williams, which I mean, it's not stopping you from taking
I'm
anybody,
about to say
but
okay.
I was say it's not stopping you from taking anybody. He's going to probably play. They paid him. Um, can you scroll down to their depth chart?
Yeah, this is what they have.
Vucevic, Collins, Williams. Uh,
I feel like this is a
uh,
little outdated too.
yeah. I
Matt
didn't
Thomas.
when I was doing mine, they had a lot of teams like Kobe White. They got him at the bottom. I'll go Derek Queen. I think the best center available. They more than likely going to trade Vucevic. He's been linked to the Lakers forever. If it happens, maybe not. They might go get one of Portland's centers for cheap. Uh, I think Vucevic will get moved, so I'll just take the center. Or center. I think
Yeah,
isn't Derek Queen? I think he's good off the dribble. I didn't watch much of
he
him. Good
is.
off the
Yeah, he's.
dribble. He's a good hub. Like you said, not a good rim protector, which Vucevic isn't really the best either. I'll check the high upside center. I think I had him. I don't even know where I had him at mine. I
I
think I
had
might.
I had him here thinking that Vucevic would get moved.
Yeah, I do too. Okay. Oh, I had him here too. Okay. I don't know what I was thinking. I had him here anyway. Yeah, I do think Vucevic will get moved. Just kind of been there forever. Somebody said, Sacramento should try to go trade for him. Build an elite team of Levine, DeMar, Vucevic. But we'll see.
Yeah.
So I'll go Derek Queen.
Yeah, I think he's the best like face-up big in this draft.
Yeah.
I think him and Danny Wolf are by far the best offensive bigs in this draft. He's still got some rawness with his
Mhm.
shot. I think that the potential is there for him to be a solid three-point shooter. My comps for him, I have pre-injury Yusuf Nurkic, so the actual good Yusuf Nurkic, the 18 and 12 version of Yusuf Nurkic, and
Yeah.
they run sharp. They run sharp, I think.
Okay.
Is another.
I've noticed too about this class. I like how a lot of the picks are 19, 18, 19, 20. A lot of young guys.
Yeah. Well, I think we're about to get to a point where we have some older guys here, so that might change here
Yeah.
towards the back end of the first round. Atlanta Hawks. My guy's still here. Let me look at the depth chart just to make sure. Yeah, I think it's okay for me to take my guy right here. I'm interested because I'm surprised this guy is not over here on the left side because he's usually a consensus like lottery pick. And that's Jace Richardson. I'm gonna go Jace Richardson right here at 13. It says 6'3" on here. He is not 6'3", I can tell you right now. He is like 6'1" and a half at the
Yeah.
best. He he played a lot of two. He's played a lot of two at Michigan State. Based on like pre-draft stuff that I've seen, he wants to play the one
Yeah.
in NBA. I think he'll definitely end up being like a combo guard. I think he's cool. He's just like the size is the biggest question. He's got the motor, he's got the intensity. My comps for him, he reminds me a lot of Cole Anthony, and he's got some Cason Wallace about him too, which I
Okay.
think could be really cool. He's a good two-way like connector, but it's just the size and what position will he play. Like you see up
Yep.
here, 1.9 assists at Michigan State, and he wants to play the one. I don't know. I don't know about that. If he wants to do that, it may take some time to get him acclimated to that. But he's a talented player. He's very athletic. Um, just a lot of questions with Jace Richardson, but I'll take him here at 13 for the Hawks.
I had um I had him going a little further down. I had the Hawks taking Thomas Sorber.
Okay.
Capella's a free agent, I believe.
Yeah.
And Okongwu was not the biggest center, which Sorber isn't really either. But I had Richardson going to Memphis at 16,
Huh.
which I thought it was 6'3", like you say, 6'1". Um, it was post the Bain trade, so I just kind of had them get another guard. But I do like to pick. Would he start with Trae Young?
No, I think he would come off the
I'm
bench.
about to say that might be the smallest backcourt in the league.
Yeah, he's definitely coming off.
We got San Antonio.
This is the Spurs right here at 14. Last pick of the lottery.
Should I? Uh, when I on my mock, I had Colin Murray Boyles going here.
I don't hate it.
Um, I know you say you don't really like him.
Yeah.
He's a great defender. Can kind of create his own shot a little bit. The shooting is not consistent a little bit. From what I've seen, he kind of
He
can
can
create his
attack
own.
off the dribble. I'll
Yeah,
say that.
he can create his own angles for himself. I won't say just create his own shot.
Yeah.
But a good defender. He's 6'7", 6'8". I think
That's
6'7".
6'7" down here.
Yeah. He's a He's a not the best passer, but he's a a good passer for his size. He was on a bad team, which could maybe not look. He didn't look the best at times. Video unavailable. That's funny. Um,
They took it off for a reason.
yeah. But I'll go call him
I'm
Murray
glad.
Boyles. He's like we've said earlier. San Antonio has no reason to rush. Is Sohan going to be there long term? I know he was working on a 3-point shot in Phoenix for some reason. I guess he thought he was going there.
I think he could be a trade piece for sure.
Yeah. Get them some more, depth. I've seen that he can play the five, small five. He can kind of
Maybe.
play up,
I
but
mean, if Vic is
with
on the floor and wants to stretch, I guess technically.
technically, yeah, he could. If Vic goes down for some reason again, he obviously probably couldn't be the starting five. Um, but yeah, I call him Murray Boyles as kind of the defensive upside. Just get the size. In the West, you're going to play, KD, Ant, Randall if he's there. Um, OKC really doesn't have just a big guy. We had this debate the other day. I know Jalen Williams. It says he's 6'5". You say he's taller. So
Yeah.
just getting a guy that can kind of defend the bigger wings or some of the bigs, just definitely helps their ceiling.
Yeah. Colin Murray Boyles, I don't like him as a prospect, but I don't think he's terrible. And I definitely don't want to make it sound like I hate Colin Murray Boyles because he could very well shatter my thinking about him and be a really good NBA player. I said all the bad about Colin Murray Boyles, or maybe not on here, but I haven't been high on Colin Murray Boyles, and I have him going 17 in my mock to the Timberwolves, so not much lower than this. He's going to be picked at least in the top 20, I think. I don't think he could possibly fall further than that because of
Yeah,
the potential. Like defensively, he is a great connector defensively. I'll give him that. It's just offensively, I do not see the potential offensively for him to be a guy who can stay on the floor without having a very specific set of teammates around him. And I
yeah.
think that's teams are not going to cater to Colin Murray Boyles. He's not that talented of a player. So my questions come from the offensive end. Um, 6'7", I think is a little generous. I think he's closer to 6'6". He has like the Draymond Green profile, and at his best, I think he could be like a diet Draymond Green. But I think a more realistic comparison for him is like Jabari Walker from my team. I don't think
Yeah.
I don't see him being much better than that, but who knows? He could shock me and be like the anti Tijon Salon, Jalen Hood-Schifino of this draft, be the other way around to be really good when I'm saying he's really bad. So
Depending on where he goes, he might be one of my guys, and we'll see how that goes.
might have to be.
Um,
We might have to be at odds with
he
Aubrey Boyles.
he's also been linked to us as a trade down, which you'd have to be depending on where you trade down, it'd be a reach, but who knows?
Yeah. All right, this is OKC who had this is one of their many picks up here at 15. This is a Miami Heat pick that has been traded to OKC. I thought about Noah Esingeh here. I don't think OKC would go that way though, because they already have Ousmane Dieng on the team, and that
Mm,
pick has been like the one that hasn't really panned out that well for them. Um, he was picked, I think, 11th overall back in
yeah.
2022, one
Mm,
pick before Jalen Williams. Um, so I don't think that they go Esingeh. Jaeger Dimon. This might be the Jaeger Dimon spot.
that's who I had.
Yeah, I'm thinking either Jaeger Dimon or Asa Newell right here. I have on my mock, I have Asa Newell going right here at 15,
Mm,
but he does a lot of the same things that the other Jalen Williams does. So I don't think if Jaeger Dimon is still available
yeah,
that he would be picked over him. So I'm gonna go Jaeger Dimon. Look at this point guard rotation right here. This is a really weak point guard draft after this. Although I
yeah,
would consider Walter Clayton a point guard as well, and Ben Seraph, who's not on here, which is interesting.
yeah. I
But
had them in.
yeah,
They also have a top pitch who didn't play this year too,
that's
as
right.
could be a backup guard.
Yeah.
But I forgot about that when I did the draft. So I kind of just had a guy that he's a good playmaker with the ball in his hands. When SGA wasn't on the court, J Dub had a lot of that responsibility.
Hmm.
And so you do this, you take them, and he can kind of take that responsibility off of J Dub a little bit. But as well as he played, you even want to. So
Yeah. Jaeger Dimon, there's some questions about him that I have, that a lot of people have. He's not a great shooter, but I liked his showing at the combine. I thought that he shot it well at the combine. He did better than I expected him to. You see the size right here for a ball handling combo guard. Technically, I guess he can play three too, but he's a really good offensive player. Um, when he's not like shot hunting. He's a really good playmaker. He played in a really fast offense at BYU. Um, I think that the potential is there for him to be a really good player. My comps for him, I have Josh Giddey. I think he shows a
Mm.
lot of Josh Giddey and a Najee Marshall. I think Najee Marshall, a very underrated player. I think Jaeger Dimon has some of that as well. But I'm interested to see his trajectory because he's been a prospect that's been on people's radars for a couple of years now. He's fallen a little bit. A couple of months ago, he was as high as like 6 or 7, and now he's down here at 15. And a lot of people have him lower than this even. But I'm going with Demon at 15. I think he can be a cool player.
Yeah. Crazy. They just won the finals and they have two picks in the first round this year.
Man, Richie,
Yep.
Memphis.
Um,
You are the Memphis Grizzlies representative, Jacob.
they don't want that. Memphis fans don't want that. Um, I took Jace Richardson, who's already off the board.
See, a lot of Memphis people do not want them to take Jace Richardson
Yeah.
just because they already have Scottie Pippen Jr. and
Right.
whole undersized thing.
You have Edie, Jaron. Edie's gonna miss some of the first part of the year, but I think you had Jay Huff. Really, you
Clark will miss a
need
little time too, I think.
do what?
Brandon Clark will miss a little time too.
Yeah. Um, I've seen Carter Bryant does have a solid floor. Um, I assume Memphis is gonna pick. I don't think they would trade it for a player. You brought KCP in, who's what, 6'7", 6'6",
I think he's 6'5" or 6.
5.
Yeah.
Um, no, what's Noah Senga's player comp?
I have I have Bilal Coulibaly, another French wing, and Ryan Dunn. Those are
Okay.
the two that I have.
So
So two younger
defense,
wings.
yeah. I've seen Carter Bryant does have a safe floor. Yeah, we get the floor out.
In my mock, I have Carter Bryant going here at 16.
Okay, that's what I was looking at. What do you think of Will Riley?
Um,
I had him further down, but
Yeah, he kind of burst onto the scene late, so he was kind of not on my radar until like March. So
okay,
I don't feel like I have a great gauge on Will Riley, but I like the size. I think that he has good offensive potential. I think questions are on defensive end.
okay. Um, I'll go Carter Bryant.
Okay.
I know he can, has some offense, has a good floor. Memphis has always kind of been a good drafting team, or the last few years. They kind of hard for them to get free agents in, so really just kind of I think they'll go trying to draft for need. But I mean, even Carter Bryant, I've talked to you about him. He could go higher. He could go in the top 10
Oh yeah.
or at 10. So I think if it falls this way, I think they'd be happy. Add size to Memphis. You lose Bain, which I know Bain's not the tallest. Clark, like you said, Clark will miss time. I think just getting the wing depth, just kind of adding wings will kind of help Memphis.
Yeah. No, I really like Carter Bryant. If it wasn't Rasheer Fleming at 11 for the Blazers, I would have picked Carter Bryant
Carter Bryant,
for
yeah,
the Blazers. Partially because my comp for him is Tumani Kamara, and I just love Tumani Kamara.
yeah,
But also I have Ron Holland. I have Ron Holland as the other comp for him. You say the numbers here. The numbers don't flash or anything. He came off the bench a lot of the season for Arizona, but he kind of came on strong in March Madness. He was really good in the Big 12 tournament. He was really good.
yeah.
A 40% three-point shooter. He looks like a prototypical 3-and-D role-playing wing, great
Hmm.
size. I just think he projects really well. Like you said, I think the floor is pretty good for Carter Bryant. He doesn't necessarily have a very high ceiling or anything, but I think if you're looking for a pretty safe bet in this draft, I think Carter Bryant is a good pick.
Yeah. in Memphis, get the pick from Orlando, it's come up of could they be a Giannis team eventually or like a star team, a Trey Murphy. They could be going to like how Indiana did, kind of have the two stars and two big contracts with Ja and Jaren, and then kind of fill out nicely, around the team.
Yeah. No, I like that idea. Um,
Um,
Timberwolves right here. So this is where I had Colin Murray Boyles going in my mock. I do think they look to go with a wing right here, but it's not going to be Noah Singeh. I think Noah Singeh stays on the board for at least one more pick. I'm
yep.
looking at two guys right here. I'm looking at Liam McNeely and I'm looking at Asa Newell.
Okay.
I just like their stretchability. I think I'm gonna go with Asa Newell though. You see the size, he's 6'11".
hmm
He's young. He
Do you do you assume Randall's gone?
No, I think Randall's
Okay.
back.
Okay.
I think Julius Randle will be back. I think Asa Newell could be a good bench for he stretches the floor really, really well. Um he's raw in a lot of ways. His freshman season at Georgia was very up and down, but he flashed defensive potential. Like he's not an afterthought defensively.
Yeah.
He's just kind of raw as a 19-year-old. He was one of the most talented players in his high school draft class, played with Cooper Flagg, Derek Queen, and Liam McNeely at Montverde Academy. So there's that tie as well. And I think that he projects to be a pretty good NBA player. I have a Precious Achua and Chris Boucher as his comps.
And for Minnesota, I took Liam McNeely. So
I
we're
could
kind
see
of
that.
the we
I
had the
could see that
same we
too.
had the same idea. Yeah.
Yeah. So 18. This is Brooklyn's pick. They no, this is Washington. This is
Washington, yes,
Washington.
played Washington.
Washington.
You took Malawatch. I took
Oh,
Berenger, the center from France, at 18.
okay. So you think they take
Um,
both?
no, so now I'm not doing that since you
Okay.
took Malawatch. In my mock, I had who'd I have? I had Ace Bailey fall in the sixth,
Mhm.
which we've seen in mocks. Like I said, we don't know. So we took Malawatch, pull pull the starting point guard.
Uh,
Marcus Smart maybe if he doesn't get traded. I assume he's getting traded.
I'm thinking like Bub Carrington at this
Well, yeah,
point.
Bub, yeah, Bub. Chris Middleton picked up his player option earlier, 33 million. Saw that coming.
Yeah.
Um, should we stop the Noah Sengay slide here?
I mean,
Or is it not a good
sure.
fit? Or is it not a good fit?
I mean, I feel like Noah Esingeh wouldn't be a bad fit anywhere. I just feel like they already have Noah Esingeh on the team and Bilal Coulibaly. So
Okay.
it's up to you.
Scroll down. Can you scroll down to the depth chart?
Yeah. I know like Corey Kispert is still there. Like, see,
Pittsburgh.
Thomas Satoransky's here. What's he doing here? Um, AJ Johnson is an
Um,
interesting player who kind of flashed some potential at the end of last year.
yep. Shabazz
I
Napier.
should bet Ramon Sessions, Ty Lawson.
I assume Marcus Smart will get moved, but you have Winston who Brogdon might get moved. I forgot they have some of these guys.
Yeah.
Um, I'll probably go with the pick I had at Minnesota. I might go Liam McNeely here
Okay.
if he can add some scoring. Uh,
I think he's the most consistent 3-point shooter on the board.
okay, I'll do this because the league is kind of converted into that. A lot of threes. So I'll do Liam McNeely here.
Yeah,
Hey,
especially if you're going to lose Corey Kispert to a trade before long.
which yeah is very possible. I'll take the upside of this. Like you said, the shooting. If he's a consistent shooter, they definitely need that. And like you said, could they compete in the East? Wide open East, they could be a playing team. We've seen kind of more surprises. They
Mm,
could be the Kings of a few years ago. Not saying the one seed, but they could definitely be a lot higher than people think. But I'll go with McNeely. Just kind of take the upside swing here and really just kind of whatever you think you can get.
yeah. All right. This is Brooklyn at 19, so we had Ace Bailey going to them at 3 or
Hurry.
this is my Noah Singeh team. I'm not letting
Okay.
Noah Singeh go any further. I think that wing pairing in this draft with Ace Bailey and Noah Singeh, I think that's a win for Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Um, Noah Singeh, it's kind of a shame he's fallen this far. I had him at 9 to the Raptors in my mock. Um, There's just some like I could see him not being very good. I don't want to say like I'm out on a guy like Tijon Salon already, but the whole like French wing. And I don't want to say they all play the same because that wouldn't be true, but he reminds me a lot when I watch him of Tijan Salon and Bilal Coulibaly and Zachary Rissache a little bit, and like the rawness that they play with. It's going to take some time for him to develop into a real NBA player, and I
Yeah.
think Brooklyn can give him the time to do that. Like the physical profile is great. He can shoot the three. He has a really high free throw rate. I saw in one of the last playoff games where he got big minutes, shot 13 for 13 at the free throw line, which is really impressive. Um, he played a preseason game against the Blazers this past year and I think he had 20 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 steals in that game. So
Yeah.
he's been pretty impressive against an NBA team already. So
I
I'm listening at you.
I originally had him at 8 to Brooklyn.
Mm,
So if he could, say, the trade does happen, or even if he does fall and they take somebody else, if him falling to 19, I think it'd be great for them. I'm not calling them OKC, but they do have a lot of picks these next few years from us, New York, Houston, maybe from the Harden trade. I might be
yeah,
wrong. Um, I know they have some of our picks in New York's picks, so him falling there definitely would be a steal for Brooklyn.
I agree. Miami Heat here at 20.
Who did I? I had I had Will Riley going to 19 in Brooklyn.
Interesting.
Um, okay,
No, but-
Miami was my Newell team. I had him falling there,
okay.
so I gotta see kind of who I would take.
If you want me to go to a position, just let me know.
Okay, you don't need center. They were in the KD trade, but I don't think they made a serious offer.
Yeah, keep rolling.
Trying to think, they have Kevin Love, who can retire any minute. Jovic, Kyle Anderson, Wiggins. Man, Jaquez was in the doghouse last year for whatever reason. I don't really get it. What do they need besides maybe a point guard?
Um, I have them going point guard here. I do.
I see Nolan at the bottom.
I
Go
had
go.
I had them going Walter Clayton Jr. right here.
Okay, I had him later down. But you said you think he'll be a one.
Yeah, I think he'll be like a combo, but I definitely think he can play the
Okay.
one. These are like
What's
the pure point guards on the list.
what's Nolan's comp
Nolan,
if you have it?
I have Nolan as Devin Carter and Ayo Dosunmu.
Uh, they have Mitchell, Davion Mitchell.
Yeah.
I'll trust you. I would take Walter Clayton here.
I
If
think
you
he's
had to,
fit.
if you think it's a great fit, I know he can. He's a good shooter, isn't he?
Yes.
Okay, say they need shooting. If you think it's a good pick, I trust it. I'll do it. Because I had Newell here, so I didn't watch much of him. I know he did shine for Florida throughout. So really Miami's confusing. The heat culture thing. Thought it, hey, they're always going to be a playoff team or, in the mix. And last year we kind of see it not happen. They had a really bad stretch after trading Jimmy.
Mhm.
So really just whatever upside swing they have, whatever fit, you can kind of trust Eric Spoelstra to kind of get them going eventually and have a decent floor.
Yeah. No, I think Walter Clayton is the pick here for the Miami Heat. I think he fits Heat culture very well. He not only is he a good offensive player, but he's gotten more well-rounded as a defender as time has gone on. He is
Yeah.
older. He's going to be one of the older players in this draft, but I think for Miami, that's fine. They're not a super young team, and I don't think that they're going to go really in a rebuilding direction. I think that pairing him with Kel'el Ware is a good pairing for future purposes for Miami. And
Yeah.
like shooting profile for Walter Clayton, he's a fantastic shooter, great catch and shoot shooter, great off the dribble. He's not going to be super flashy, but he's very effective. He's a very effective player. He flashes a lot of Jamal Murray to me. At his best, I think that he flashes a lot of Jamal Murray and some Fred VanVleet. So he could he could be one of the steals of this draft.
Yeah, I agree. I think I had him at 29, but I just went off of the board and kind of best available eventually. Uh, I like the pick. I mean, you trust Miami to kind of find the good players.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. This is the Utah Jazz here at 21. This is a tough one because the Utah Jazz, we have them taking Trey Johnson here. Um, who they got at center? They have Walker Kessler and Phil
Kess,
Hosky at center. They're good at center, okay.
Kessler's been trade talks
Yeah,
for in the past. I don't know if he still is.
yeah. Looking at the centers here that are available, I
I've
maybe
seen Sorber has been projected a four if he can find if the shot
yeah.
does translate. Um,
I might go Berenger right here.
okay.
I might go Berenger right here. Um, I'll be
What,
honest, I haven't watched a ton of Berenger. I've watched enough to give him comps though. He looks a little bit like Yves Missi and Thomas Bryant to me.
yeah.
So so that's
From what
that's that's what I'll say about him.
from what I've seen outside of like Malawatch, his size and just physical profile is really intriguing. He is raw. I've seen he can definitely be one of the, a great defender, like just starting out just from the raw aspect of it.
Yeah. And Utah needs that. So I think this may be a good landing spot for him.
I agree.
So this is Atlanta at 22.
All right.
In my mock, I can't believe I haven't fallen this far, but this is where I have Rasheer Fleming going.
That's why I had him.
Interesting.
Yeah. Um,
Let's see. Jace Richardson went
22.
here at 13.
Yeah, that's how I was looking. I had Fleming. I had Neat Clifford going to 21.
Okay. I had Nick Clifford going a little higher.
What'd you have him at?
I had him up here at when the Rockets initially had the pick, I had him going at 10 to the Rockets. I
Okay.
had him up pretty high.
What's his comp?
Um, I have Josh Hart. He's a very good rebounder as like a 2/3. I have Josh Hart and Dylan Brooks.
So he could be a plus defender.
Yes.
Can you scroll down?
Yeah. You look at the
Say
depth chart.
I know Jalen Johnson's coming off an injury, which
Okay.
sucks. He's been hurt the last couple years. Is this my pick or your pick?
This is your pick.
Trey Young, Daniels. Daniels could be the two. I think it was last year.
Yeah, technically.
Could you see Jalen Johnson playing the four?
He technically did. Yeah, he was technically their four this past year whenever he was healthy. Their three was Zachary Risashe.
That's right. Okay. I'm about to say, I'm thinking Nick Clifford here.
I like that. I like that pick.
I'll do Nick Clifford because you have Larry Nance too, which he hopefully wants to play much. Capella's probably gone. You have a Kongwu.
You also have George
Uh,
Niang here. Yeah.
yeah. Uh,
Yeah, look at that. Like 9.6 rebounds per game as a 6'6" player.
yeah. I'll go Clifford.
Yeah.
Kind of
He,
add size because we know Trey Young's going to get hunted. So if he's going to be a good defender, they have Dyson Daniels, who did he get MIP?
yes.
Okay, he was a great defender, led the league in steals, I think, by
Pretty
I
wide
don't want
margin.
I say a wide margin. Um, Love to see it. Yeah, I'll go Nick Clifford here. Booster defense. I know we've had the joke on here for a couple of years about them being the most mid team in the league.
Mid-Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah, 41 and 41's good bet. Uh, I'll go Nick Clifford here. Yeah.
Them and the Kings, man. Them and the Kings. Maybe not for long though. The Kings may go be going in the opposite direction.
Yeah, I feel bad for Kings fans.
Yeah.
You had a
All right.
good year.
This is the Pacers, I believe, right? It
No,
says New Orleans, but
no,
what's the state of?
they traded for this pick and Indiana got their pick back next year. So New Orleans does have
Oh, right,
23.
right, right. So this is New
Yeah.
Orleans. Okay.
Yeah, which like I said earlier in part one, whatever we want to call it. They didn't expect, Tyrese to get hurt this bad, but it was a good kind of safe thing to go get your pick.
Yeah. Uh,
Um,
So I had Sorber right here going at 23 in my mock. So I think I'm just going to pick Sorber. It says Kelly Olynyk is down there on the depth chart. I believe he does not play for the Pelicans. I think he plays for the Raptors. So
I'm not sure. I had Danny Wolf going here. I thought I had him further down.
so yeah,
So we had the same,
we
yeah,
both
same
posted
idea.
him. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Sorber's a guy that I'm not too sure about, quite honestly. I could see him being really good, but I think a center pairing of Misi and Sorber um
I've seen he can play the
sets
four
you up for the
some.
future.
Yeah, I've seen he can play the four some with if the shot translates or he's shown flashes of shooting, I believe.
Yeah.
But like I said, they need a center.
He reminds me of Kevon Looney a little bit.
Okay. Who'd we take seven for them?
Jeremiah Fears.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm fine with this pick then.
All right. 24 is another OKC Thunder pick.
I don't know the fit. I know this is your pick. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you who I had. I had Hugo here.
Oh, I didn't.
Uh
This is your pick.
oh, it's my pick.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I had Hugo in my mock.
Okay.
I think he was a good defender, I believe.
I'd say he's okay.
What's his comp?
Um,
If you know, I know he played in Spain and
so
for
I,
Real
I
Madrid.
I didn't even have him in my first round, so I didn't give him.
Okay.
I don't have much to say
Like I
about
said, okay. See, they won a championship. They don't need anything. This is a luxury. Hey, we get a rookie. Um, you got Topic coming. We took who we take for the first
it.
pick?
Jaeger Demon.
Demon. So can you undo this? I don't know.
Yeah.
Undo this because I now I don't know. It's literally like a luxury pick. They have picks next year too. Um, I had this player going at 25. I think he could be a great 3 and D guy, which the sample size might not have been there.
Okay.
Um, I don't I don't know if OKC. I'll go Cedric Howard here.
Okay. If you didn't take him here, I was going to take him at 25 for the Magic. I'm
That's who I had. I
actually,
had him going to the Magic.
yeah, I'm actually shocked that he fell this far. I highly doubt he'll fall this far on
I
draft
thought
night.
about taking him Miami.
Yeah, I can see
Um,
that.
but with him, is he the I don't want to say Isaiah Joe replacement because I doubt they trade him. They just extended him this year or this past year. But we saw Isaiah Joe, Philly Sixer legend. I will never forgive Doc Rivers, by the way. Uh, we saw him get played off the floor in the playoffs from his defense, and if his shot's not falling, what does he do?
Yeah.
Um, maybe he's the Aaron Wiggins. I don't want to say replacement because they don't have to do anything. They really don't. Cedric Howard just an upside guy. Just take the whatever you want to call it upside. Just good role player,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it for them.
I
Really,
think
they could do anything.
I think he's a really safe bet to be a really solid NBA player. I know a lot of Grizzlies people I talk to, they really want the Grizzlies to take him at 16. Um, yeah, he's got the size, like you see, 7 rebounds a game, 4 assists, so he's well-rounded. He's got a really good basketball IQ. He played lower level at Eastern Washington before he transferred to Washington State. So he has kind of that, work his way up mentality, kind of the same path that Jalen Wells took, going from D2 to Washington State to the Grizzlies. But heck, OKC getting here, it's just a richer get rich scenario. Um, yeah. I highly doubt he falls this far, but
Yeah, the big board I had, I think I had him in the second round maybe, or into the first, and I was like, I've seen him go a lot higher, so I just went ahead and did that. But
okay.
he was my pick for Orlando, so now it kind of changes your pick for Orlando.
Yeah. Um, hmm. I'm looking at this board here.
They have Bane and no Pope or Anthony.
Let me see. I might have to dig into a position. I do like Adu Thiero.
Yep, I've
I
seen him move up boards.
yeah, I like him a good bit. Let me look at the small forwards before I make a choice though. I mean, Will
There's
Riley is still here, but I
do
honestly think I like Adu Thiero more than I like Will Riley.
do you just want to take? Is is he a good shooter?
Who's the arrow?
Yeah.
He's okay. He's an okay
I would
shooter.
say I would say they could use that because Isaac has the history of getting hurt, but really, if he's good on offense, I mean Orlando needs him, honestly.
Yeah.
So or
Yeah.
anything on offense, really.
I'm gonna go and do Thiero right here. I think he's really talented. He was hurt most of this past year for Arkansas, so he didn't get to play very much. But if he had played more, I think that he would have flashed as a really, really good playmaker. Uh,
Mhm.
my comp for him is Peyton Watson and Jaime Jaquez Jr., like the good version of Jaime Jaquez Jr. I think um I think he's a very versatile wing. I really like what he can do.
Yeah,
So I'll
I
go
sent it to you. Oh, good.
I'll go Orlando right here.
Okay, yeah, I've sent it to you. He's kind of in the mix for us at 35 if he falls, but I've seen that we could trade up for him if we do really, like somebody like that.
Yeah. All right, these next two are you. These are 26 and 27 for your Sixers. Took Khan at 8.
Yep. Got Cam Johnson in the trade.
Yep.
Forget the Bailey thing there.
Right.
We know that.
Bailey's a Brooklyn Net.
Here I had where's Brooklyn's pick? I had Mac, a center the center from Stanford,
I had Berenger going here.
and then I had at 27 I had Nolan going. Okay.
I had Will Riley going at
All right.
27.
So this changes since we have the back to back. Um, I've seen Drake Powell to us at 35. Um, we obviously not doing the second round.
Yeah.
Um, what'd you say what Riley's comps was?
Um, I said he's got a little Nikola Jovic and Jet Howard.
Okay. Because we need the wing depth. We need the athleticism and defense. Really, a lot of. I don't want to say it's a luxury pick because we have Paul George and Cam Johnson in this scenario. What about Noah Penda?
Okay.
What do you think
So,
of him as a comp? He's 6'8". Yeah.
yeah. He wasn't in my first round, so I didn't give him a comp either. But from
Okay.
what I've seen, uh, he's got kind of some. He reminds me a little bit of like Isaiah Hartenstein, quite honestly.
Really,
Yeah,
really. I don't know man, I don't know about that then.
but he's 6'8" is the thing.
Yeah. We have two picks. I'll go. Oh man. Assuming we're probably gonna bring Grimes back. Did you have Drake Powell in the first, or he was the second?
Yeah, I have Drake Powell at 21 to Utah.
What do you think of him?
For his comps, I have Vince Williams Jr. and Haywood Highsmith. I think he's raw. I think he would take some
Okay.
time, but he
It's
has the
re
potential to be good.
it's between Powell and Riley right now. Oh man.
I mean, you have two picks. You can go both if you wanted to.
I'm looking at somebody else for that next pick,
Oh, okay.
which I don't really know if it makes sense who we have on the roster. I'm looking at center for that next pick.
Okay.
Man. I'll go Will Riley. Highest on the board. We've done that before with Dale Morey. If somebody falls, like Maxey fell to us, McCain, I guess, fell last year. We've took people that fall before.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do Will Riley. And one thing about Daryl Morey, he has hit on draft picks in Philadelphia. You might get mad at the love for James Harden and old guys, but he has drafted well.
Yeah. No,
And here,
I think he's a good prospect.
yeah, and like I said, Paul George and Cam Johnson, McCain, Maxey, if he's a 2/3 or he was 6'8", I think, even
Mhm.
a 3/4. I mean, he's not gonna have. We said that last year. He's not gonna have a need to like be good right away. But we had guys like Justin Edwards who was undrafted shine for us last year. Um,
You said you're going center right here with this next one?
yeah, yeah. I'm looking at Ryan Kalkbrenner.
Okay.
He can stretch the floor. Um, I don't know about Hansen Yang. I've seen him. I don't know if he's gonna be taken in the first.
Yeah. This guy has really grown on me right here. Niederhauser,
Hmm.
he's going to be a good NBA player, I think.
I like Bona as our backup. He's undersized, I think 6'9", 6'10" maybe, but he showed great defensive. He was a good lob threat last year for us. Great rim protection. Fouled a lot, but Do you think Joel Embiid is going to be healthy?
I mean,
Probably,
track
probably
record
not.
says probably not.
I mean, if he plays 50 games, cool. Um, with the East being wide open, if he's an all-star level, like let's say it's not MVP level because of the knee, all-star level, we could make it out the East, realistically. Um, man, I hope Drummond's gone. So I'll go Ron Kalkbrenner here. He can stretch the floor, which Joel can too. So I've seen this kind of, yeah, he's older.
I like him though.
I've really
I think he's a
40,
I think he's a nice, safe, like
yeah,
big pick.
49, 49 point game. I'll do this. He can stretch the floor. He's a little older, experience. So
Think
really this is, let's say, hey, Embiid gets hurt. Drummond was really bad last year. We're probably going to send Seconds out to get rid of that contract. Bona and Kalkbrenner, I mean, hey, go out there and just do something.
no. My
So,
comp for him, you're gonna like this one, is Mike Muscala, your boy.
hey, fine with me. So with Philly, we had Kalkbrenner, Will Riley, and Conklin. I'm fine with that. If you can trade back and get extra picks, fill out some depth. As we know, how the draft is, your price is kind of set where you picked at,
Hmm.
so that definitely helps us really in depth wise.
Yeah. All right, 28 right here is Boston.
This is
Uh,
why I had Kalkbrenner Ryan at first, but
that would make sense. That would be an on-brand pick for them. But I
especially if KP is gone.
Right. But I had in my mock I had Maxime Renaud, and I'm gonna go with him right here too. I
Yeah,
think that he could be a very prototypical Boston Celtics big. He
yeah,
gives me a lot of Luke Cornett, and I know they might lose Luke Cornett here in the offseason. So basically get a replacement for him. And I think Maxime Renaud could potentially be better than Luke Cornett in the way that he stretches the floor. I
hmm
think that defensively he's like a better as a consistent shot blocker. I know Cornette had the crazy game in the playoffs where he blocked, I think, 7 or 8 shots, but on a consistent level, I think Maxime Renaud could be a really good big for Boston,
yeah.
a potential Al Horford replacement once the time comes for him to retire.
Probably after this year, I hope. But I had him going at 26 to Brooklyn, so I mean I could have taken him again, but you know I
Yeah.
don't think just having extra picks, I don't think you can really go wrong.
A guy who's kind of risen on boards as the college basketball season went forward.
Yeah,
All right, this is your last pick right here with the Suns at 29. They took Danny Wolf at 10, so
I had Walter Clayton here. Um, took center. I guess we can go wing here. I had Noah Penda going 30. No, I had him. Yeah, I had him going 30 to the Clippers. Yeah. Oh man,
I had Thiero going 30 to the Clippers. Right here, I had Ben Seraph. I had Ben Seraph going to the Suns.
that's pre trade, isn't it? Probably.
Yeah,
Is he? Can he play the three? Because
probably
even
probably not.
because their three is what 3 or 4 is what Royce O'Neal.
Royce
He's
O'Neal, Dylan Brooks, Ryan Dunn.
so you really just need size. Um,
Yeah.
I'll go Noah Penda here.
Okay. I like. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
It-
you took a big already or a center already. Just get the size on the wing. Like you said, it's a log jam at guard at shooting guard.
yeah.
That's fine with me.
All right, 30th pick for the Clippers right here. I had to do Thiero originally. Let me see. I think for this last pick, might as well reach a little bit. I like Eric Dixon.
Hmm
Chaz Lanier is here. See, I think Chaz Lanier will work his way into the first round. He's one of the best shooters in this draft, maybe the third best shooter in this draft behind Trey Johnson and Con Knuppel.
Okay.
Um, a guy like Cam Jones is down here. I've seen him
Yep.
potentially go in the first round. He's got really good scoring potential. Kobe
Do you
Bryant's down here.
do you want a forward to eventually replace Batum?
Yeah, I was gonna go forward right here.
I was like, 'cause even Eubanks is there, but that's whatever.
Yeah. Jameer Watkins, I've seen really good things about Jameer Watkins. I think he's one of the best perimeter defenders in this draft. He kind of
Okay.
fits the Clippers mold, but he is an older player, which I don't think the Clippers would mind. But I'm not going to go with him. I think that I will go. Yeah, I think let me see the small forwards.
I've seen Johnny Broom. I think that's how you pronounce it. I've seen him go up
Janai
boards.
Brew.
Johnny, yeah, he's been mocked to us and at 35, which 5 picks away, but he's I've seen him go up boards a couple times.
Yeah. I think I'll go Drake Powell right here. I went Drake Powell at 21 in my mock. I think that he has a lot of, like I said, Vince Williams Jr., Haywood Highsmith, a little bit of Terrence Mann too, if the playmaking comes along.
Yeah.
Uh, he's just young and raw. He got better as the year went on. He in their matchup against Duke, they ended up losing their second matchup, but he was hounding the Duke guards. He was hounding Cooper Flagg, Con Knipple, and Tyrese Proctor in that game. So he has the tools to be a really good defender. I'll go Drake Powell to end our first round. That will do it. We have been at it for a little while. This is the
Top of the second round. I'm just kidding.
I'm done. I'm capped out. But yeah, this is the order right here. Remember, Ace Bailey is a Brooklyn pick, not a Sixers pick. Um
You fumbled with that when you gave us free picks.
I mean, I don't really care for I don't really care for Brooklyn. I don't care
Yeah.
less. But I like what I'm seeing. I like the way this went.
We had a lot of the same ideas for teams too.
Mhm. Yeah. The thing about the draft is that there's going to be one player that's going to fall. Like in our draft, it was Noah Esingay,
Mm.
but
Last year, who fell last year?
it was oh,
Somebody always falls and somebody always goes pretty high.
why can't I think about it? I gotta go back and look at the draft order now. But
I think this year, I'm gonna do my guys thing again.
mm,
I guess I was right on some of them last year. It'd probably be something we talk about post draft when we recap it and look at picks. I could see Malloy Watch falling. I don't know how far and what would you consider a fall for him, but I think he might be the best option as a fall guy, maybe. Besides, Esingay, and it might be Esingay actually, but
yeah,
since we had him fall, I didn't want to really just say him.
out of all of these guys outside of the lottery, if you had to project one of these guys to be like a really good player, who would you say on this date? At this current date.
I could see Cedric Howard going a lot higher. I think I'll say him. He's kind of the one of the back end that I've kind of seen a little bit more of. But I'll say Cedric.
Yeah, I think Asa Newell. I think Asa Newell could still. I know he's fallen, but I could
Hmm.
still see Asa Newell being a really, really good NBA player. And
Yeah.
Adou Thiero too. I
Hmm.
really like Adou Thiero. And of course Noah Singay. Noah Singay has the potential to be really solid as well, as do all these guys. But
Like we
um,
said, it depends on situation where they go.
for sure, for sure. I think we'll wrap it up right there, though. We have been recording for a long time. It's been great to have Jacob back on the channel. We'll continue to pump out some videos throughout the off season. Next one will probably come after some of free agency has passed. Maybe some trades have happened. But yeah, we'll be back on here before too long. So thank y'all for joining us today. If you stayed for this entire thing, man, you're a sicko. Um, Staying for 30 whole picks of this NBA draft. But we enjoyed it. And Jacob, you got anything to say before we close?
Well, that's it. Good to be back. Plan on being a lot more consistent this year.
That's what I'm talking about. We'll have Tanner back on here before long too. We'll get the whole gang back together. So yeah, we'll see y'all next time. Peace out.
Yeah.